Heyo, Omnidogs and Omnikittens. It's Omnidog with Omnidog's Vault, Ultimate Spider Days in the Vault with my co-host, ETL, also known as Chat Omnidog.
That is true. Welcome to the show. We have a very exciting announcement, a very exciting show for you. But before that, a little paperwork, a little business. We are still the #1 rated Omni, or what are we?
Ultimate
Spider-Man new. Has to be. We have to put that qualifier in there. New Ultimate Spider-Man review show, #1, and demographically, we are still #1 on people that fall asleep to YouTube, and our show comes up. Aggregate, they throw it up and then they don't close it. So we are really big in the middle of the night. We don't get that many comments from those people, but we are streamed a lot. So that's big, exciting news. And I'm sure a lot of people in the Omnidogs Vault family saw that Jess and Taylor Brown interviewed Mr. Greg Rucka for their, what was that, Crime Corner show?
Yeah.
And not to be outdone, we today will have Brian Michael Bendis live on the show to be interviewed for the Ultimate Spider-Man show. Yes, the creator of Ultimate Spider-Man is here today. Go ahead, Jess. Hit the button. Brian Michael Bendis button. Bring him in.
He's not here today. What are you talking about? What?
You said that we were going to compete with the Crime Corner show.
No, I never said that. We don't have Brian Michael Bendis for today.
I thought you were doing that for me. Okay, well, no. I guess we know my hierarchy in the Omnidogs Vault.
Taylor Brown went out and got Greg Rucka. So if you want to get Brian Michael Bendis, you can.
I got to bring him myself. I got to bring the Bendis myself.
Yeah,
right, I'm going to put some feelers out. I thought you would take care of it.
I know.
You're the big head honcho. In the Slack, the Omnidogs Vault employee Slack. Tyler Blount was saying you're getting Kevin Eastman for the Teenage Ninja Turtle. Kristen was saying you're having the Giant Days creators on. I mean, and so I thought we would for sure get Brian Michael Bendis on here.
It's all up to those guys to get the creators.
Oh, Jess. Well, you're the most famous Omnidog in the world. All right.
Yeah, no, I just host the show. I don't do anything about the creators.
Oh, I got to do the heavy lifting? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you do. I'm sorry.
Well, let me just say I'm very lazy and I don't do things like that. So
we may have a problem.
We may have a problem with this. But, stranger things have happened. I will put out some feelers.
Okay.
I know no one literally that could help us. I think I do follow Brian Michael Bendis on Twitter.
Well, that's how Taylor got Greg Rucka. I think he just hit him up on Twitter.
What are the chances of getting Taylor to do this for us?
They're probably pretty good if we can get him to.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Michael Bendis will be here later on a later episode, guaranteed. Taylor Brown promises.
I can get Taylor to try and get him for Batter Days in the Batcave, and maybe through that I can get him for this show.
No, hold on, Jess. Still, quit burying our show. I feel like the little redheaded stepchild of the Omnidogs Vault.
Well, Taylor's going to get who he wants for his own self-interest first, which is Saturdays.
I tell you, he's so handsome. He's already winning in that category. He's super smart, so he's winning there.
Yeah, he's a winner.
And he gets all these great people on his shows. I guess I'm just thankful we still are the new #1 Ultimate Spider-Man show.
Yeah, we have that to be grateful for.
And I assume Taylor Brown is trying to get in on this show, and he's going to, the ratings go through the roof.
I don't know that he reads that much Spider-Man. I don't know.
We are. All right. Well, all right. I'm going to keep hope alive that someday we'll get someone on the show that may have had something to do with Ultimate Spider-Man at some point professionally.
Okay. We can work on that.
We're going to lower the standards a little bit. And, we might get an editor or, a production assistant or something that was somewhere around this when it was happening. So
okay. That does lower the bar.
Well, I'm sad that our announcement didn't come to fruition, but like I said, I'm going to keep hope alive.
Okay, good.
I guess we still should do the show. I mean, I had all these questions for Brian Michael Bendis.
Well, you can ask your questions.
Do
Yeah, you can ask me. We're talking about Ultimate Spider-Man issues 20 to
it's weird that they have
27.
different covers. Mine's the
You have
paperback Ultimate.
Oh, yeah, I have the hardcover. Volume 2.
So for today, we read issues 22 through 27. The run is called Legacy. I think the individual trade paperback is called that too.
Okay.
This is shocking. Green Goblin is back. We thought he was dead, but no one dies in comic books, or at least no one dies for long. He was not dead, and he has come back, and he is the main villain in this run. But we open up issue 22 with this is what I really love. I don't want to show too much, but like this is like where Peter Parker, like he is the beginning of issue 22. It's like in the morning. There's some criminals on rollerblades, I think, which dates this a little bit, and they are doing like almost like randomly robbing people as they go along. And Peter Parker as Spider-Man comes in. Great splash page.
That is a great splash page.
Really awesome. And he comes in and saves the day, and then he has to go to high school real fast.
Yeah, he's late for class.
And this is what I really love about the 60s books, and kind of like, where he's just dealing with petty anti-crimes and stuff to do his regular life and interferes in that. And this captures it really well. And again, where Stan Lee would do it in like a half a page. Bendis does it in about 6 or 7 pages, but it's just the Bagley art is really great. I just thought this was a fun little throwback, and just those criminals don't add up. They don't come back, or at least as far as I know, they don't come back. It's just a regular, Peter Parker keeping the mean streets of New York City in the morning before school clean and stopping crime. So then we get to high school, and Harry comes back. Harry Osborn is back in school. Everyone's super happy to see him. But then, of course, this triggers Peter is thinking, if Harry's back, then and Harry gets to meet Gwen Stacy, our favorite 16-year-old mom, sexy mom. And so, but Harry, so he's happy, but Peter's thinking, well, if Harry's back, then maybe his dad is back too, I think. Yeah. So it's a little nervous. Peter's still grounded. He has to tell his Mary Jane that he's grounded and he can't see her, and it's serious. And then he gets home, and someone's visiting from Harry Osborn's office. I can't remember her name. There she is. She's the blonde next to Aunt May. And so Norman Osborn invites Peter to come to his office for dinner, and Aunt May, and this is the first time Peter is glad to be grounded, but Aunt May says, no, you don't have to be grounded. You can go to dinner to the man who's probably going to want to kill you. Go ahead. Have fun. So he goes to dinner. Do you wait till you get to Norman's office, and he has like these weird shark tanks that was like the first Bond-esque villain level of Norman Osborn's lair. To be honest, that might be later on. I just remember.
Oh no, there's a shark tank right here.
Yes.
Yeah, that is his shark tanks.
Yeah, which is the smallest shark tank I've ever seen, I'll be honest. And I'm pretty sure sharks can't live in that amount of water, but whatever. They come back later and they flop around at the last battle. But so Norman and Peter, Norman has this really kind of creepy conversation with Peter.
Very creepy.
Yeah, saying that you work for me, and if you don't, I will kill your girlfriend. And he knows Mary Jane is his girlfriend, and he goes, I will kill Aunt May. I mean, basically all out threatens him. And then now Norman can change himself into the Green Goblin, shooting himself with like this red, mutagenic that turns him into Green Goblin, and then he takes another dose of something, and then he can turn back to human. We also learn that Harry is being hypnotized.
Yeah.
Old chestnut of hypnosis. With
I
nothing
didn't
else.
pick up on that one. I didn't know that's what that was. That was interesting.
Yeah, so Harry is being hypnotized to love his father again. I tried that on a girlfriend, or not a girlfriend, a girl that wanted to be my girlfriend in high school. It does not work.
No.
Just fun fact. So we move
Creepy
on.
fact.
Yeah, creepy fact. I wasn't well liked. Well, I wasn't well liked in high school or now, to be honest. But it's neither here nor there. We move on. I'm trying to think what happens. The other thing that happens is that are we introduced to Nick Fury, or at least we're given a lot more Nick Fury. I think
Nick Fury does show up.
He might have been introduced last book, but yeah, Nick Fury plays a bigger part of this, and he says basically, don't work with Harry Osborn. We're going to protect your family. And of course, Peter Parker is dubious of this, as all
Norman Osborn. Yeah,
Norman Osborn. God, I'm sorry.
That's right.
So we have a lot of Nick Fury. It goes. I like him very much in the Ultimate World. I think he's a cool. The whole show,
I think so too.
Done very well. They're more of a cool spy organization.
Yeah.
And then the other meat of this book is we have this battle between Peter Parker and Norman Osborn. Peter Parker goes and confronts him and says, "I'm not going to work for you." They get in a fight, and then Norman Osborn swoops down. He's able to fly for some reason as a Green Goblin, and he swoops down and grabs Mary Jane, who is hanging out right there. Yes, swoops down and then takes her to the top of a bridge and then drops her a la Gwen Stacy in the regular continuity Spider-Man.
Right.
So that's one issue. We see that, and then the next issue opens with this. I think it says like 22 minutes earlier, and then in the issue before we're seeing Peter Parker's point of view, and then the next issue we're seeing a Norman Osborn point of view, and he turns into the Green Goblin, and then so we see the whole same conversation, but now from this kind of psychotic version of Norman Osborn. And if you see the details of Spider-Man, he's got like extra arms and spiky fingers. And so this is the next issue, and this is from the point of view of Norman Osborn, and there's all these thought bubbles of like kind of like the Green Goblin talking to him and calling him, and he's crazy. And we're seeing the exact same dialogue that we saw in the issue before from Peter's point of view, but like we're seeing how it's being skewed in Norman Osborn's kind of crazy brain. I thought this is what I think Bendis does very well, is he kind of expands the format. I could imagine this would be kind of frustrating and weird if you're reading it at individual issues, but like as a collected volume, I thought it was just super effective and cool. I did think the kind of crazy talk of the Green Goblin, that got a little. I started skimming those. It was a little redundant and a little, but again, I just thought that was a very cool comic book effect, to see. And again, he does it so well. One issue, he just copied the issue basically, but we're seeing it from two different points of view.
Yeah, I thought that was really effective and cool.
Yeah, and then the end of that issue, he actually drops Mary Jane, and we actually see Peter Parker saving her, but she got kind of hurt. He barely saves her.
Right.
And he gets her into a cab. Who's a Spider-Man fan, and says, "Get out of here." But he actually said, "Don't go to home," because he knows Norman Osborn knows who he is and knows who she is. So they're going to meet at a warehouse later. Gets her out of the way, and then he goes up and kicks some major Green Goblin ass, along with the help of a helicopter. There's a helicopter by Shield. This guy's name like Wainwright. It's so funny because I'll get to that later. But so the Shield is hovering around and they're asking to take the shot. And
Quartermain, yeah.
And so he gets in the shot. He gets in the way. Peter beats him up. Green Goblin takes more of the serum, gets more Green Goblin-ish. His horns get bigger. His muscles get bigger. He gets more crazy. The battle gets more intense. Spider-Man goes through a window. His costume is ripped. He's no longer wearing a mask. Harry Osborn is there, and as the Green Goblin is ready to kill Peter Parker, we go to issue 27. Yes, that is the Green Goblin throttling Peter Parker. Shield is pretty ineffective.
Yeah.
Quartermain can't take the shot. He looks like he's wearing like a gimp suit from a sex dungeon.
From Pulp Fiction, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But he's still crack pilot and a crack shot. So the beginning of issue 27, we go back to Peter Parker. The sharks are out of the tank. I don't know if you remember seeing that.
Yeah.
They're flopping around. And as Norman Osborn is choking Peter to death, Harry Osborn steps in and stabs his father in the back.
Yeah.
With, I guess, some like building material. And of course, he recognizes Peter, his friend, as Spider-Man, and he says, Peter, and that if you move up a little bit more, you see Quartermain in the bottom corner. That's Quartermain right there. It's like, this is the little shot of Quartermain in the chopper. Yeah. I love
that's how he's able to breathe in that thing.
The greatest thing about Quartermain is he's an expert shield helicopter pilot and sniper, and then later on he's told by Nick Fury to go get Peter Parker some clothes that he can wear to home. I'm like, these poor Quartermain, he can't get any credit.
No.
So then we have, Norman Osborn is just going more crazy. And then the next page, if you look, he reverts back to human form. And the sharks are dying.
Dead on the floor.
Out of the tank. It's very symbolic of what has happened to our antagonist.
So I had a question. They come in and they examine the Goblin.
Yeah.
Give him thumbs up. So Goblin's still alive then?
I assume he's still alive, yes.
Okay.
And they kind of Nick Fury insinuates that they're basically going to ride on the hypnosis that Harry Osborn has been going through. And I'm just assuming erase the identity of Peter Parker Spider-Man being Peter Parker from his memory.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little unclear. The whole Nick Fury scene is a little creepy because he says, when you turn 18, your ass is mine. It's, I guess he's going to let him run rampant as a juvenile. But once Spider-Man comes of age, he is going to become a SHIELD agent. It's not great. Then Peter Parker goes to the warehouse to see Mary Jane. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping.
No, that's fine. No, that's good.
And again, I think the stuff with Mary Jane and Peter. I think the stuff between Mary Jane and Peter Parker is really touching and kind of realistic. If you think,
I agree.
As much as 15-year-olds trying to find love.
I agree with that.
And then the last page of the issue, we see them kind of like Mary Jane's a little bit like, I don't know if I can date a superhero. And then that's how we end them apart. The only unrealistic thing I did not like is like at the beginning of the issue, this is so like minor that we skipped over, but like Gwen Stacy, Peter Parker's on the phone with his girlfriend, Mary Jane. Gwen Stacy knocks on the window. Peter Parker's like, I gotta go. And Mary Jane's like, what? And he's like, well, Gwen Stacy's here. Could you imagine?
That was weird.
Yeah, it was just like, I love my wife more than anything, and I know she loves me dearly. But if I told her, babe, I gotta go, Gwen Stacy is at my window, and I'm going to let her in, and she's going to stay with me, and she's going to stay with us. Isn't that great? I think we'd have a long conversation about that.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I think he's just. I don't think he quite knows how to fold Gwen Stacy into the. And to be honest, I can't remember in the '60s books. He never dated Mary Jane for a long time. And didn't he date Gwen Stacy?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think they got together. It's been a long time since I've read it.
Me too. Yeah,
it feels like they didn't get together till after the death of Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, so I think Gwen Stacy was like the first girlfriend.
Yeah,
Kind of like flipping that on its head, and Mary Jane is clearly the first girlfriend. And Gwen Stacy doesn't seem to have romantic notions on Peter. I think she or at least what we've seen, they seem to be friends.
Yeah.
And Mary Jane is friends with her too, but it is a little bit when you have a sexy blonde leather pantsed 16-year-old girl wanting to stay with you. I don't know if your girlfriend's gonna be cool with that.
No, I know, that was odd.
Yeah, but you still liking it?
Yeah, I'm still digging it.
Yeah.
I still like the art. I think he does faces really great. The action scenes are really great.
Yeah.
I think the relationships seem, as you said, realistic.
Yeah.
Like enough for a comic book that it seems more real than previous iterations of Spider-Man that I've read. So I like it enough that I want to continue and keep going.
I think it's great. I mean,
neat and it's fun.
We've read 27 issues, basically 2 years worth of work for these people, and it's just I would say it's not getting better. It's just been level great.
Yeah.
I thought the weakest part for me was like the first runs, and again, I use the term weakest very loosely, but like now it's hitting cylinders. I think one thing Bendis does very well is he kind of he's very good at writing these chunk arcs with like a bad guy, so Norman Osborn's the bad guy for these 6 issues, and it's just done very expertly and interestingly, and then he also is good about keeping the long threads of Mary Jane and Aunt May's kind of anger at Peter, and we didn't get very much of the Daily Bugle, but like his job at the Daily Bugle. I think he's so good at like kind of like playing the long game, but then also kind of doing these chunks of what the bad guy, the bad guy of the week or the bad guy of this trade paperback is, and it's just he does that kind of better than anyone, or as good as the best, so.
Yeah, and for all the talk of how wordy he is and everything, I haven't found that in these books at all. Agreed. They're pretty fast reads.
Yeah, and he is. I mean, again, like he is wordier than other writers, but it's not like super wasted.
Yeah,
a lot of times, and again, I think his humor's gotten better. Like I think his quips, his Peter Parker dialogue is better. I did think like the kind of psychosis of the Green Goblin in Norman Osborn's head got a little much, but I knew what he was doing, and they kind of made no sense, so you didn't really need to read them, But again, it was effective storytelling because you saw how much was going on in that guy's head as he's battling and talking, and so it was done well. I mean, it's just I mean, he is wordy, but not overly.
Yeah, I haven't found these to be a problem at all. They're fast and fun and interesting to read, so I'm really digging them.
Me too. I'm looking forward to doing the next one.
Okay, good.
Do you mind if I do a couple ETL recommends before you let me go? Because I mean, to be honest,
fine.
We got some time to kill because I was prepping for Brian Michael Bendis interview, and now I got nothing. So
okay, yeah, sure.
Okay. This could go in your crime corner. This is there's a series of 7 books. They're all McNally's something, written by Lawrence Sanders. This is all from the 90s. So McNally is a private investigator in Palm Beach, Florida. So it's like the rich, super rich. His dad's an attorney, and so he does all these private inquiries. So this is how dated it is. His car is a red Miata.
Oh yeah.
And that was super fun and cool. My mom is a huge reader. She probably reads 2 to 3 books a week, and she loves crime and just pows through this. So I remember I found these in high school, and there's a series of 7 of them. Since then, Lawrence Sanders has died, and someone else has written them, and I've tried to read the continuation, and they're not nearly as good. But the original 7 are really great, and I've literally read probably all 7 10 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The other thing is too is he sleeps with a lot of ladies. He drinks a lot of booze, and he eats a lot. I've never read food be described He's the writer clearly is a foodie, but he talks. He's the McNally character's name's Archie McNally. Super into all that stuff and just talks about. It's so weird, but it's like and then here's the author. I'm kind of going. So either that guy wrote the best books you've ever read or the worst books you've ever read, and I will tell you, he wrote the best books I've ever read. So
nice.
Super weird dude, and he lived in Palm Beach, and he wrote a ton of crime books from the 70s. Some of them were made into movies. He's a very prolific writer, but these are by far, and I've read a lot of his books, but these are they're real fun and funny, and you can find them on eBay. I think there's a lot of paperbacks still being published, but like I found them all on hardback, and I get rid of them. My wife makes you get rid of a lot of stuff, so I've gotten rid of and bought these books probably 3 times. So I'm going to hold on to them. I can't. This is the first one. I'm going to start reading it again because I just can't. And they're really great to I read a chapter every night. You just read a chapter. You read it in like a week, 10 days, and you're done. 2 more recommendations, but they are linked. I'm going to recommend a podcast. It is by it's called Me Reading Stuff by Robyn O'Neil. She is a visual artist. I have a book of hers I'm going to show you next. She's a visual artist, but a couple times a week she reads a poem. I'm not a huge poetry guy, but she reads a very she's really into literature, so her podcasts are about 15 to 20 minutes, and she reads a poem, but she's super interesting. And in full disclosure, we are friends, but I would listen to this anyway, and she's just super funny, and she really kind of finds weird poetry. They're always kind of like not super esoteric. They're just fun and funny or interesting. And she's just a great person to listen to, and so I like having her in my life. And this is her artwork and her book, which came out a couple of years ago. She has been doing these drawings for 20 years. She does. This is all graphite on paper. Nice. She just had a show at the Fort Worth Museum. This is one of her most famous drawings. That's a giant drawing. I don't know if it has the measurements, but it was huge. I've seen her do this work. We have a piece of hers.
Oh, okay.
In our living room.
Need to hold it. Yeah, there you down a little bit. There you go. Right there.
So there's one page. The book is great. She also has a website. I think it's just Robyn O'Neil. The book is published by Arkan Projects. So you can still buy these. But great book, great podcast, great person, great artist, great, pretty good cook. I'll say that too about her.
Okay.
She lives in the Seattle region of the country. Highly recommend everything Robyn O'Neil does.
Okay.
And so those are my recs for this week.
Well, good. Send those to me and I'll put them in the description.
Okay, well, yeah, like the website and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Well, can we maybe do this next Wednesday?
Sure.
Well, we'll figure it out, but
yeah,
it's good to be back. I know we both need to take some time off, but it's good to be back. It's good to be reading Spider-Man again. It's good to see your face.
Good. Well, it's good to see you too, and I appreciate everybody that's tuned in to watch. We're talking about Ultimate Spider-Man with ETL, also known as Chat Omnidog from the Omni Bros episodes that he watches.
Yes.
And he's got a little avatar of me from my wedding day as his picture. That's how he got the nickname.
Greatest day of yours and my life's. So great day for me as well. Great day for all of us.
And so thank you to everybody watching. Thank you to ETL for joining me. And please hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe and leave a comment. We always respond to comments. So peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you very much.